Hello everyone, welcome to Event 6 of the Biscuit Brawl Bleague. Math. The rules, 4 marbles go down a slope and land in a points basin. The first marble will add points, second will subtract points, the third will multiply the points, and the final one will divide, and most points wins, and ties are broken by biggest individual marble. Top numbers subtract most of them, but bottom affects only division. Marbles can push other marbles to affect their scores. Whether positively or negatively. And if a division marble gets a 0, that's not a 0, that would be a 3, but that would be a disqualification. So let's start with the staff run. So we'll start with Savage Speeders Fan. Current score is 0, so let's see how Savage Speeders Fan will do. Immediately started with adding -5, so that's -5, not a great start. Next up is Mid, let's see how they'll do. So they're the subtraction marble, because there's a second one. A lot of rolling around, but they get subtract -5, which is 0. So next up is Steven, which is the multiplication marble, who will get a 1, although 0 times 1 is still 0. I believe that's going to be a 1. Yep, still 1. And finally, Marigold, who will get, let's see, this is the division marble, by the way. Let's see what they get. They get an 8. Well, actually, no. Since it's division, it would be 4. So that's still a score of 0. So we'll start with run 1, the paintballs. Not doing very well so far. Unfortunate for the former runner-ups. They start off with a 20, a great start. 20. Yeah, it's a wonderful start. Let's see what the second marble will do. This is a subtraction, by the way, which will be 0. 20 minus 0. That's really good so far. Let's see what the multiplication will do. So far 20. Hopefully the multiplication marble won't destroy everything. That's multiplied by 7. 140. That is very good. Yeah, we can tell it's 140. Hopefully we can get to the other final division marble. And here it is. Let's see what they'll do. And it's a 10. So that's a score of 14. That's at least a positive number. That is first out of 1, obviously. Next up are the natural disasters. Hopefully they can improve upon that 14. Currently in 15th, not very good. And this looks like that's a 0. Not very good. Not a good start. Not a great way to start. Let's see what the second one will do. They'll get an 11. Oof, -11. Not a great score so far. Honestly, it'd be better if they got a 0 here with the multiplication marble. Maybe -5. Yeah, they get a 0. So their score is 0. So unless this last one gets a 0 as well, it's not going to be, it's just going to be a 0. And they'll get a 20. They'll divide by 20, but 0 divided by 20 is still 0. So that will be second out of 2. Next up are the social butterflies. Why I call them the butterflies, Jesus Christ. So they'll get a huge launch right there. What will that be? A 1. Well, unless, wait. Yeah, it's a 1. So interesting, not a great start, but hey, at least it's a positive number. So let's see what the subtraction one will do. Oh, they actually pushed them to the addition went to the 0, and then they get a 2 themselves, so that's -2. That actually hurt them quite a bit. Let's see what the multiplication marble will do. They'll multiply by 11. That's not good. -22. Eesh, that is quite not good. Let's see what the division. Will the division marble be able to save things? Not really. No, they don't do anything actually. They divide by 1, which is -22, and third out of 3. Not a very good run. Next up are the beefy bovines. Let's see if they can at least beat -22. I hope they can. And it looks like starting off with a 0, not a good start. So maybe they can get at least a low number here. They get a 3, got a little stuck there, but that's -3, so maybe they can get a little lucky with the multiplication. Not a whole lot, just another -3. So this doesn't look like it's gonna be very good, but it might at least. It looks like it's at least gonna beat the social butterflies. And the division marble gets and they get a 0. That's a disqualification. That's a disqualification. 4th out of 4, dividing by 0. That is not good. Anyway, next up are the breakfast buddies. They can at least beat a disqualification, right? Unless they get disqualified themselves, which would be unfortunate. They start off with a 2. Okay. It's not a 0, which it was almost a 0, so yeah, that wouldn't have been very good. Let's see what the subtraction marble will do. They get a 9. That is not good. That is -7 so far. Let's see what the multiplication marble will do. Hopefully they can do something good. And it looks like a 1. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a 1. Still -7. Division marble, hopefully they'll do something not horrible. And, oh, they pushed them to the 20. That's a -1. That's -140. And since that's a 1, that's divided by 1. -140. That is 4th out of 5. Not a good push. Next up are the Cetacean Nation. Some awful runs we've seen so far. Only one has been positive so far. But they start off with a 13. That is a great way to start things off. That is the max number you can get aside from the 20. And they subtract 3. Yeah, I'm sure they're okay. The second marble's okay. But let's see what they multiply by. And it looks like they will multiply by... ooh, 0. Quite unfortunate. That could have been a great run otherwise. Let's see what they divide by. They jump into the 20, and that's still divide 20, 2nd out of 6. Unfortunate. Well, I mean, it's still 2nd place, so it's not really that unfortunate, but I mean, it's unfortunate that was 2nd place. Now, next up are the Crimson Killers. So let's see how they'll do. Still hoping for a positive run. 7. Decent start. Not bad. Let's see what the subtraction marble will do. Hoping for a number lower than 7. Oh, -5. That is 12. So as long as the multiplication marble doesn't screw up here, this is likely going to be a good run. And they screwed up there. They got a 0. Unfortunate. Still might be a decent run considering it's a bunch of zeros so far. What's this going to be? 5. Almost got another 0. Almost got themselves disqualified, but they get 4th out of 7 at least. Remember, ties are broken by highest individual marbles, so getting into 20 is really important, even if it lands you a 0 overall. Bookworms get a 0. It's a great start. Wonderful start. Let's see what the second marble will do. The subtraction marble. Will they get something good, I guess? They get a 10, so -10. So, not good. What will the multiplication marble do? They'll get a... That's another 0. Well, it's better than -10, but still not very good. And the division marble just has to try not to get a 0. And would you look at that? That's a 5. So that's 4th out of 8 with a 0. That's a bunch of zeros we're seeing so far. Pretty common. Next up are the Berry Bombers. As we start the top half, hopefully these guys can do a bit better. We start off by adding 10. That's a good number to add. How much are we subtracting? You're going to subtract, it looks like 1, which, pretty small number, going down to 9, but still looks to be decent. Hopefully they don't get a 0 here, or even worse, a -5. They'll get a 6. They almost landed the 0, but they get a 6. That's a 54. That's quite good so far. Well, the division marble will do. Hopefully not a 0. That could be pretty unfortunate. Oh, they pushed one of them. What is that going to be overall? That's a 42. So, yeah, good on them. That's 1st out of 9. That's a quite really good run, actually. Next up are the Kiwis. Just saw that amazing run. See if they can top it. Not looking good so far with a 1. So we'll just wait for them to finish. Yeah, that is a 1. Let's see what the second subtraction marble will do. They'll get... Oh, they'll actually push their addition marble to the 5 and get a 1 themselves. So that was a great push. Putting them up to 4, which, sometimes, that's just pretty good. Especially with how the teams are doing right now. And that's another one. They are multiplying by 1. That is currently a 4. Still. They're just gonna combine together, I guess. And let's see what the division marble will do. They'll jump over all of them. And that's a division by 3. That is a 1.33 repeating. That is still enough for third, despite barely being above 0. Quite a low score, but still enough for third. Next up are the Night Lights. Unfortunate last place, last event, but can they recover from this? Great start so far, 20. Not only that, they can't really be pushed around from that 20, so that's quite nice. And they're subtracting 11, quite a lot, but still a 9, which is good. Let's see how much they'll multiply by. They're multiplying by another 20, 180. Oh my god, that is going to be a great run. What is this going to be? They're going to be dividing by 3, which is a fair number, going down to 60, but still, that is a wonderful run. First out of 11. Great job by the Night Lights. Next up are the Tree Huggers. Let's see how they'll do. They'll have to beat 60 if they want to win, which, yeah, that's not going to beat 60. That is going to, they're probably fine. Let's just go. So that's a score of 1 so far. Let's see how much they subtract. They're subtracting 10. -9. That is not good. That is quite bad, some might say, actually. How much will they multiply by? -5. Wait, that is great. 45. Wait, they're saving things. A score of 45. So let's see how the final marble does. How much will they divide by? Okay, 4. That's a relatively big number, 11.25. That is 4th out of 12, though. That is pretty good. But let's see how the Dark Dragons will do. Now, they fell off a bit from they were originally in the lead at one point. How they do now, starting off with a 9. A 9 could be pretty good. How much will they subtract, though? Oh, wait, no, they pushed them to the 0, so that's another 0. Oof, that is not great. How much will they multiply by? 1. That is not good. And from the looks of it, it looks like they'll lose to a bunch of other zeros in the tiebreaker. So they kind of really need a big number here in order to give them some hope of a not horrible finish. So let's see what the division marble will do. And they'll get... that was almost a 7 and 8, but it was actually it would be a 4 division. But that's a 20. That is 0. But as 8 out of 13. Next up are the Corvid crowd. See how they'll do. They're doing okay in the standings so far. Actually, well, not okay. They're on 3rd, what am I saying? And they start off with losing 5 points. That is not a great way to start. Let's see if the subtraction ones can, make things a little less bad. Well, I suppose it's less bad. It's -6, though. Not great. Let's see what the multiplication marble does. Oh, wait, they pushed their marble. Wait, what is that going to be? That is a -10. Interesting. But not good. Oh, and they push them again. What is this going to be overall? They're going to divide by 3, not 0, because it's the division. That is a -6.67, 11th out of 14. Not a good run. Next up are Gas Giants. So, I'm sure they can, hoping for, a positive run would actually be really good. But they're starting with a 0, which is not good at all. They really want the subtraction one to be a -5. And it will be a 6. They jump on their own marble, and they're starting off with a -6. Let's see what the multiplication ends up being. Ends up being multiplied by 5. -30. The division hoping to be something at least good. Maybe a -5 would be really good. And they divide by 5, which is a -6, which is slightly better than the Corvid Crow. That is 11th out of 15. Still not very good. Finally, are the Fairly Fairy. Will they be able to dethrone the Nightlights? They're in the lead so far, so they could. Let's see how they start off. They're starting off with an 8. No, it's going to be a 20. They roll off into the 20. So, let's see how the subtraction bar will do. Will they subtract a lot? Or very little? They're subtracting -5. That is adding 5. That's at 25 so far. Looking like a great run. Hopefully they don't screw up things with the multiplication one. And they don't. They multiply by 11. 275. How much will they divide by? Let's see. It's going to be quite an interesting jump. Almost a 0. Well, actually, no. That's not a 0. That's divided by 3. That is a 91.67. That is the lead. That is the win. Fairly Fairy will win the event with a 91.67. And these are the results of the event. Congratulations to Fairly Fairy for winning gold, to the Nightlights for winning silver, and to the Berry Bombers for winning bronze. So let's look at the standings soon. Yep, here they are. Fairly Fairy is still retaining the lead. But the Crimson Killers, Paintballs, Breakfast Buddies, Natural Disasters, Social Butterflies, and BB Bovines in the bottom 6. But we will see you next time for Event 15 of the Biscuit Brawl, the Decathlon. But until then, this is Rip Biscuit signing off.